Good morning, Flosstube. I'm Sarah and you're very welcome to my little channel here on Flosstube, YouTube. This little corner of YouTube is all about cross stitch and other stitchy adventures when I have some to share. It's Saturday the 19th of October and I am very grateful to all of you who keep returning and watching every time I post a video, and I want to welcome those of you who are dipping your toe in the water and coming along to watch for the first time. Thank you for giving the channel a try. I know there are lots and lots of floss tubes out there vying for your attention, so I hope that you like what you see and you might stick around, subscribe, like all of those things. If this channel isn't for you, that's fine too. There will be a floss tuber for you because we are many and varied in our discussion of cross stitch, in the styles that we stitch, and I really believe there's something for everyone. So if I'm not your cup of tea, go and find someone who is. Though no hard feelings here. Okay, since last time I saw you, I have obviously been at Stitch in London, which was super exciting, and I'm going to do all that gushing later on. I will talk a little bit about some aspects of Stitch in London as we go through things like new starts or maybe a swap piece, or that I'll talk about as I go through the regular sections of my video. But most of the Stitch in London chat will come at the end. So if that isn't for you, you're able to skip most of it by just signing off early. But I hope you will stick around just to hear how much fun it was. I am going to be as effusive as I was last year, but hopefully not just as long. I have some happy mail that I want to say thank you for. So when I came home from Stitch in London, there was a lovely parcel waiting for me and for Charlotte with a sweet card from Lindsay at So Sweet Samuel. And she sent a lovely little Disney Princess activity pack for Charlotte, and she sent me this beautiful handmade pouch. So it could be a small project bag or a notions pouch, all kinds of things. It's got this handy little lobster clasp on it. Handy little lobster clasp on it here as well. And of course, it's got cups of tea. So thank you so much, Lindsay. That was really kind of you. You didn't need to send anything at all, but it's very gratefully received, and I will put it to good use. I always find something to fill my, my sippy pouches with. So thank you very much, Lindsay. That was really kind of you. This morning, just before I set up for recording here, the postman came and he brought me a little package of charts that were sent from a very kind viewer who wishes to remain anonymous, but you know who you are. And I haven't seen any of these before, and they're beautiful. So she has said that they were in her stash and she's not going to get around to them, so she wanted to pass them on. So we have Brenda Gervais, the Brick House Sampler. Yeah, it is Brenda Gervais. It's beautiful. Reminiscent of Rejoice Evermore, which of course I still haven't finished, but less we talk about that, the better. But it's beautiful. So the Brick House Sampler, I think this is one that I will definitely keep and stitch and then pass on when I eventually do stitch it. I've got this beautiful Scattered Seed Samplers Springs Messenger Pin Keep. Isn't that gorgeous? It's beautiful. And then this one is called Needles Dance, and it's a collaboration from Summerhouse Stitchwork, Ink Circles, and Hands On Design. It's very sweet. I think this one would lend itself to lots of different types of fabric backgrounds. So thank you so much for sharing those patterns with me. I will stitch some, keep some, pass some along. So thank you very, very much. I enjoyed opening those this morning because they were new to me. I haven't seen them at all before. Now, one of the other things that I've done since I last saw you is record a short little video, which is a floss toss video for the Across the Pond Stitch Along, the SAL, which is going to happen in 2025. So Across the Pond is a Facebook group run by Marie of Stitches and Diamonds and Angie of the Tiny House Stitcher, and I have offered to host a 2025 stitch along for the group over there on the Facebook page. So I'm just mentioning it here because I know some of you have signed up to the Facebook group since you've seen the announcement of the sale, and you visited here and I announced the sale last time. So I know some of you've gone and joined up there, but I also have a video then of a floss toss, and I've put that into my my Flosstube extras videos. And this is a floss toss video for the Swan Bay fabrics. So Marie and her husband Gunter have started a new hand-dyed fabric business here in the UK called Swan Bay Fabrics. And on our monthly Zoom meeting at Across the Pond, there was some interest in seeing what the threads for our Across the Pond sale, which is this pattern, One Stitch at a Time by La Di Da. So people wanted to see how did the threads for this look on Marie's fabrics, because they want to support Marie and purchase fabric from her. So I was able to do a little floss toss video, and if you're interested at all, you can go and see that. You might be interested because you want to join the sale, or you might be interested just because you would like to see some of the Swan Bay fabrics up close and personal, as it were. So that is a little video. It's Flosstube Extra number 8. If you are already part of the Across the Pond Facebook page, you will find it in the posts there. It has been uploaded there as a floss toss video for everyone to see the fabrics. And I thought I would show you here a little bit of behind the scenes because we all know on this channel how useless I am at doing the presentation, and how every time I try to share or show something, I drop it, it falls, it gets mixed up, whatever. So I thought you might like to see how I managed to get through a floss toss video without my threads falling all over the place. So here is the sneak peek. I got a barbecue skewer, I threaded on the skeins of floss, and I taped them together with washi tape. Genius! This helped clumsy old me not to have any catastrophes when I was trying to show off Marie and Gunter's beautiful fabric. So a little bit of washi tape and a skewer, and life was sweet. I thought that those of you who know my clumsiness would appreciate that little behind the scenes look. Last time we had a winner for this chart, the birds and the bees, and the winner is Gillian Beasley 7007. Gillian hasn't been in touch with me, so I'm giving another call out to Gillian. Gillian, if you see this, please contact me. Use the email address that's in the drop down box below, or contact me by direct message on Instagram. I'm SewMeSarah over on Instagram. Just drop me a wee message saying that you're the winner of the chart and giving me your home address so that I can pop this in the post to you. And that is probably all of the catching up that you need, except for the Stitch in London catch up. So let's have a little chat about the stitching. So the first piece of stitching that I want to show you is a fully finished object, and this was stitched for Stitch in London. This is my swap piece for Stitch in London. Before I packaged it up and took it with me to London, I recorded a little snippet just so that I could share it with you. So I'm going to insert that here. Hi, I'm here to share with you the Smalls Exchange piece that I have stitched for Stitch in London next weekend. Now, by the time you're seeing it, it will have been last weekend, but this is the Smalls Exchange piece that I've prepared. Now, my exchange piece will be going into this bag, which I hope provides a big enough hint that what is inside is going to be red. It's really hard to get a red gift bag, or it was. I guess I got lucky because one of the local stores had some gift bags in for Christmas that didn't have Christmas things on them, so it had to be a stripe. But yeah, it was harder than I thought to get a red gift bag. Anyway, I hope that when this is sitting on the table, the person who chooses it knows that they're getting something red. Otherwise, they're going to be very disappointed. Anyway, my stitch for the Smalls Exchange is this little piece from Darlene Dion Designs. Now, Darlene is a floss tuber and she is from Canada, and her designs can be found on Etsy. I will link her below. But I think earlier in the summer she released this. This is called Stitch All the Things Quaker. She has a series of Quaker pillows, which I think is ongoing. I think there's maybe 3 at the moment. They're beautiful. When she released this one, I thought this was perfect for a Smalls Exchange. And of course, with Stitch in London coming up, that was the perfect excuse for me to purchase it and stitch it. So this has been a secret stitch for a little while. I did leave it probably later than I should and was stitching furiously to be able to get it finished up this weekend in preparation for next. The original pattern has some buttons along here and up here, but I thought those were the perfect places just to back stitch the Stitch in London and 2024 as a little reminder of hopefully what will be a fantastic weekend for the recipient. I have finished it as a pillow with some cute quilting fabric on the back, stitching related quilting fabric. There's a little 2024 charm here and a little spool and some scissors, as well as a handmade with love button. So this was stitched on 40 count, so it's a reasonable size but not too big. But it is 40 count linen, dirty porcelain from Roxy Floss Co. And the floss, which is mostly red as you can see, is silk, Gloriana pomegranate silk. And then I have also added the little green accents. Those are a silk by Vicky Clayton that I was gifted, and it's an unnamed green, but it was a lovely green to add to this stitch. So that is my Smalls Exchange piece. I will be putting that together in the bag along with a little red needle minder from Cotton and Clay. Laura had one of these little red toadstools left, which I thought would be perfect to go with my red theme. I'm going to include 2 of my favourite classic Colourworks red threads. One is ribbon red and the other is Cupid. They are actually slightly different. They didn't look it there, but you can see Cupid has a lot darker variegation in it. But anyway, I just thought it would be nice for someone to have a couple of threads. Maybe they won't have seen these before, and that gives them an option to experience 2 new thread colours, I hope. And then there will always be a little bit of a goodie, so some red boxed chocolate. So that will be my Smalls Exchange piece and goodie bag for Stitch in London. So I need to take those upstairs carefully and put them aside so that nobody eats the chocolate, and and keep them safe to travel with midweek. So that is my Stitch in London piece. I hope whoever has chosen it off the table enjoys it, and I hope that you had a really wonderful weekend. Now, the lovely Davina was the person who chose my parcel off the exchange table at Stitch in London, and I'll insert a little picture of Davina and me at Stitch in London just after she had received it. I think she was happy with it, and I really hope that she enjoys the little parcel that I put together. The swaps are always a lot of fun, and the excitement and noise level in the room definitely went up when that was all happening. So it was, as usual, really good fun to participate in the swap. My other fully finished object for the last couple of weeks is one that was also a start in the last couple of weeks. So this was start number 43 for the Fun for 50 Sal 2024 that I'm doing with Sally, my wonderful friend who has also turned 50 this year. So we have a challenge to do 50 starts in 2024 to celebrate our 50th birthdays. And this one is my number 43. It was a start and a fully finish and fully finish. Let's see if you can see it better like that. In the last couple of weeks I started and fully finished it. I love it. So this was a Mill Hill kit. It's from the Holiday Harmony series and it's called Harp. So it looks like that. And I really enjoyed stitching this. So this little stitch is an ornament, going to be an ornament for my Christmas tree. And I finished it with some of the self-adhesive velvet that you can purchase in a multicolored pack from Amazon. So that was a very helpful, very easy way to finish it. And this meets a couple of the prompts that you guys gave to Sally and me for our year of 50 starts. It meets prompt number 50, which was from Linda Eccles. And Linda had suggested that we stitch something with an Irish connection, like an Irish saying or the flag. Well, I didn't have anything with an Irish saying or the Irish flag, but I thought an Irish harp would meet that prompt, Linda, so I hope that's okay with you. Taya van Erp had prompt number 30. She said to stitch something music related, so that is my harp. Number 73 from Mad Grandma, who said stitch something using gold thread. So there's definitely gold thread in here for the harp strings. And Neuf Gazi at prompt number 75 said stitch a Christmas ornament. So this one ticked 4 boxes from the prompts list. And I think it's very sweet and it's nice to have another one started and finished. So that is the Mill Hill harp. Oh, and just also to tell you about this handy dandy little bead tray. So I can't remember, but quite some time ago, way back early last year, or possibly the end of last year, when I was kitting up for different things, I had been watching someone on YouTube, and I can't remember whose Flosstube it was, but they recommended the Beadsmith sticky bead mat. So this is the Beadsmith sticky bead mat. That's all it's called. I got it from Amazon, so if you just type into Amazon Beadsmith sticky bead mat, this will come up. When you take it out of this package, it's got a film on the front and a film on the back, and you retain those so that every time you put it away you can put the film on the front and the back, and it's great for holding your beads. So there were lots and lots of beads for the little harp. And I was able to use the bead mat. It was the first time that I had remembered to use it. I have had it for a while, and I think I did another project that had some beads and forgot to use it. But I remembered to use it, and I will be using it again. I did find it really, really helpful. So your beads kind of just stick to it. You're able to then pick them up on your needle. You're not chasing them around your living room and trying to find them in your carpet. And at the end of the process, you just put the film back on top of it and it sticks back down. Now it does say, and whoever I watched in the first place to be inspired to purchase this, whoever I watched in the first place, had said that all you do when it gets a bit grubby is to wash it under some water. And then its stickiness returns. So let's see, it says, ideal for keeping small beads and parts right where you want them. When the mat starts to gather dust and debris, simply rinse with water and let it air dry. It will refresh and become as sticky as new. So I haven't had to try that out yet because mine didn't become grubby. But the person that I watched, I know had tried it and they said it worked. So I'm hoping that it does. And if it does, then this is definitely a good little purchase. Not terribly expensive. I think it was £6 or £7, maybe, something like that. And it was just really helpful for beadwork. So I wanted to pass along that little tip if you are someone who stitches with beads. Now I had some whips when I went to Stitch in London. So just before Stitch in London, the harp was what I concentrated on. I just got it finished. When I went to Stitch in London, I didn't take very many projects with me. I took two. I took two projects that would be easier to see at night. So one is on a 28 count even weave and the other is on a 16 count Ada. And I thought I'll take those because at night time when my eyes get a bit tired, then those are a little bit easier to work with. And I had pre-ordered two of the Stitch in London kits. So this year at Stitch in London, the kits were optional. There was no kit included in the project, in the retreat pack. Those kits were optional this year, just so that you could choose what you liked to stitch. So I chose two of those, and it was my intention then to spend the weekend starting those. And I just took two of my own current whips along with me for, as I said, for easier nighttime stitching. So I got very little done on anything really all weekend, but I will share with you what I did do. So the first one I took with me was Humming Along, which is a Bothy Threads kit on a 28 count even weave. And it's this beautiful little hummingbird. This was one of the starts, the 50 starts earlier in the year. It's not very big. I don't have a huge amount left to do, but it's still not finished. So I put in kind of all the pink around this bird's throat on Friday afternoon when we arrived. We had to wait a little while just till everything settled down to receive our kits. So while I was waiting, I made a little start on this, but it was too difficult for me to stitch at that time, at the very beginning of retreat, when you're saying hello to everybody, when you're super distracted. It was too hard to count all the stitches. But I did put in that tiny little bit of pink, and I just think it's worth sharing with you to show the colours again. So you can see that I abandoned it with my needle in, which I rarely do. I have tucked the needle just up there out of the way, and when I'm putting this away, I will take the needle out completely so that we don't have any problems. I'll probably actually finish that thread and finish those stitches in this afternoon before I put it away again. But that was a little bit of progress on Humming Along. Not very much, probably hardly worth telling you about, but there you go. And then the other project that I took with me was an Ada project, 16 count Ada, and it's called The Dearest for You. And this is I think it's a Russian designer that I had in my stash for quite some time, and I made a start on it this year as well as part of the 50 starts. Now, one of the reasons that I took this with me was because over the weekend, last weekend, on Sunday, Andrew the runner stitcher was running the Chicago Marathon. Now many of you will know that. He laid down a challenge to us stitchers to join him and support him by stitching 10 stitches for every mile of the marathon. So he was asking us to join a stitch along to stitch 262 stitches in support of him running his race on Sunday. So I took this one because I figured out before I went away that if I filled in the face of the bear and the ear of the bear, I would make just over 262 stitches. I think it was 279 or something like that. I counted them all. I made sure that I was going to have enough to cover it without having to do any actual stitch counting when the day came. And I did have the bear's head all outlined already, so I was able to put in my 262 stitches in support of Andrew. And I know they're really hard to see because they're such a pale colour, but that bear's face is all filled in. And on Sunday morning, I was able to convince the rest of my table at Stitch in London to join me, and we all sat, and we were tired. So we all sat with our stitching and worked up our 262 stitches in support of Andrew. And here we are, all stitching along and cheering him on in our subdued, exhausted retreat style. So that was a lot of fun, and thank you to Table 2 for joining me in that support. So well done on your marathon, Andrew. I hope that your shin held out. I hope that it was a good experience for you, and I'm looking forward to seeing your next Flosstube and having a full update on that. So those were my whips for the last couple of weeks, and then of course there are new starts. So I have 2 new starts from Retreat. I'm not counting them in my 50 starts simply because I don't have space. Whenever I was planning the 50 starts, I knew there were things I wanted to do. Sally and I plotted out and planned ahead. We mentioned some things to a couple of people that we were starting, so we don't want to backtrack and not start those. So that's where I'm at now, that we don't have very many slots left to meet our 50. Then if I start to pull something else to put a start in, then I'm not doing a start that I've already told someone I'm doing and that someone else is interested in joining with me. So I got a bit of stick about this at the weekend about doing 700 starts. But anyway, it's my year of 50, and as long as I do 50, you're not going to tell me I can't do more. So yeah, it is a bit mad, but I didn't count these 2. So these are a case of what happens on retreat stays on retreat. So these starts are the 2 kit projects available from Stitch in London this year. The first was, well, it was actually a selection of projects designed by Yaz from Yasmin's Made with Love. And I'm going to turn to the back page because the picture is actually slightly bigger there. So there were 3 options in this booklet that you could purchase, or 3 stitching options. One is the little pincushion down here, and there were several folks who finished that over the weekend. Then there was the red sampler, and then there was a blue sampler which went with this exclusive box that Yaz had prepared for anyone who wanted to purchase it for Stitch in London, as a Stitch in London memento, really. I think her idea was that you would have your box and then you'd be able to keep all of your Stitch in London 2024 bits and pieces in there. So I think that's a fantastic idea. But my favourite is this red sampler, probably not a surprise to you. So that is the one I was planning to start. So I pre-ordered the booklet and pre-ordered the Roxy Floss Merlot thread for that and made a start. This is what I started, or what I stitched on mostly on Friday and Saturday. And that's what I got done, which for retreat stitching isn't too bad progress. I love the teapot, and it was my aim to get to the teapot no matter what else. I wanted to get to the teapot, but I wanted to make sure that I would, position it properly. So I put in some of the border. I had a little bit of a problem, and the ladies at my table managed to talk me down off the ledge as I discovered that I hadn't positioned this outer border correctly. It was stitched too far to the left, which meant it was stitched too close on here. So anyway, we had some shenanigans, and they of course were thinking much more straight than I was, like rabbit in the headlights. Oh no, it's wrong. And they suggested a workable solution. So I had a little bit of unpicking and restitching to do, but not nearly as much as I could have had to do. So this was my Stitch in London sampler 2024, and I am really looking forward to getting it stitched before Stitch in London 2025, because I just finished the 2023 one before I went away. So I love it, and I am looking forward to stitching all the rest of it. That's it, up close and personal. Okay, so that was start number 1. And then start number 2 was the Historical Sampler Company exclusive kit called Autumn Panel. And I love it. So this one I started on, I think on Saturday night and worked a little bit more on Sunday. It came on a 32 count linen. It looks to me, I know it will be Sweetheart linen because Historical Sampler used Sweetheart linen. It looks to me a little bit like platinum. It's beautiful. These colors just make me go, ah, they're so cozy and calming and quiet. And I know I didn't get very much done, just the house, but it is the center of the design. There you go. And I love it. Looking forward to working some more on that. I need to zigzag the edges of my fabric because they're fraying a little bit, but I will do that. And then that one gets a place in my whips as well. And again, I hope that I can finish that before I go back to Stitch in London 2025, because I do plan to be going back. So those were the two kits that I pre-ordered from Stitch in London, and those were the two starts that I had while I was there. Back now to my 50 starts, ones that do count. For this period that since I saw you last, I obviously had number 43, which was the Irish harp. And then when I came home from Stitch in London, the latest stitch along from Historical Sampler Company, the Robin Christmas Patchwork stitch along, was released on the 14th of October, so just Monday past. Part 1 was released, and this was then my start number 44. So I'm hoping that I can hold this up. I don't have a board, so that is my start. It's not the whole piece. I've still got this section here to fill in, so I'm hoping the rest of the weekend, today being Saturday, then I've still got some stitchy time on Sunday. I'm hoping to get that finished. I love stitching this, like really love stitching it. I don't know what it is about it. I love the border. I think that lacy look on the border is beautiful. It's not difficult to stitch or difficult to count. I love the little bordered panels. I think I like that. It feels like individual small finishes, and that's quite nice. It kind of like, I can see at night time, I think, right, I'm going to finish this one. Last night I was like, I'm going to finish the stockings. And then of course I actually started what will be the next one. So the pattern does actually stop here, which is why I have just pulled my threads out to the side, because I think there will be more of some of those threads to come in the next section of the pattern, and rather than tie them off and restart, I've just held them aside. But I hope that you are stitching this too, and if you are, that you're enjoying it as much as I am. It is available still to order on the Historical Sampler Company website. Part 1 has released, so you would get that. Part 2 will release on the 28th, so they're fortnightly parts, and they're 4 parts in total. So if that interests you, then you could go over to the website. I'll have that linked below for you if you are interested in stitching along with us. So one of the lovely things that happened was on Saturday afternoon, I think, Joanne and Suzanne from the Historical Sampler Company turned up at Stitch in London, and they came along for a visit. Marie does some work with them, and she had said to them to come along and visit, and so they did. They popped in to see us all at retreat, and it was so nice because I haven't met them in person before, and you know that they have invited me to join them on several stitch alongs. They have offered me stitch along kits here on the channel to use as giveaways for you guys. So it was really nice to be able to see them in person and to thank them. And it was so lovely to meet them. They were so chatty and so friendly and so nice. And it was great. They stopped by our table and lots of the other tables too, and had a good chat with us about what we were stitching and what we were enjoying. And we had a good chat about their products and things as well. So that was a surprise, and it was a really lovely and welcome surprise. So Joanne and Suzanne, thank you so much for stopping by and saying hello, for recognizing me and stopping, because it was just so good to thank you in person and to give you both a hug. So great to see you there at Stitch in London. back to the 50 for 50 sale. I'm going to share with you my plans. So the remaining stitches that I have to start in October are Home for Christmas from Plum Street Samplers. This one I'm starting with Sally on the 25th of October, so that's this week. I'm looking forward to that. I can't imagine I'm going to get a very big start, but it will be a start nonetheless. So I know some of you plan to join us for this one, so thank you, and I hope you're looking forward to it too. On the 28th, which is just a couple of days later, then I plan to start Moonshine Cabin by Modern Folk Embroidery. If you want to see a fabulous finish of this, Sally has recently had hers framed and returned from the framers, and it looks absolutely wonderful. So Sally at Flossy Sews and Grows, you could pop over to her channel there and see that if you haven't already. So I'm very excited, now that I've seen Sally's, I'm very excited to make a start stitching this one. You all know how much I love Modern Folk Embroidery anyway. And then in just another couple of days later, we have starts for November. So I'm just inserting the slide for November, which you'll see only has 2 starts on it. Because by the time I start Modern Folk Embroidery Moonshine Cabin, that will be start 46, and there will just be 4 slots left to meet the 4. That'd be better if you could see those. 4 slots left to meet the 50 for the year. So my 2 for November are Nessie Mitchell. This is a pattern by Michelle at Mama Loves You GB, and Michelle very kindly contacted Sally and I at the end of last year, beginning of this year, when she heard that we were doing our 50 starts challenge. And she said she would like to gift us a chart if we wanted to choose something. And Sally and I both love Nessie Mitchell. So this is the chart that we went with to have a November start together. So you know that we have lots of different starts, but we try to have one a month that is the same. So we're making Nessie Mitchell our November start. I want to play around and possibly change the Nessie Mitchell name to my own maternal grandmother. But I adore this. I love, 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 love this top border. This one at the bottom is so intricate and stunning. I love the crowns. I love the letters. I just love everything about this. So this is Nessie Mitchell, 1929 by Mama Loves You GB, and this will be our 1st of November start for Black Sampler November. And then on the 18th of November, I am going to start a long-awaited Seasons of the Heart Winter. I have had these patterns from the primitive, what is this called? Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine. Always get this wrong. Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine, and this one was in the 2021 Christmas Winter edition. And I collected them all. They were all out in that year from the blue flower. So you can purchase these patterns separately now as well. I love it so much. I love all of them, and I really wanted to fit one of these seasons into the 50 starts for this year, so I'm going to stitch the winter one, or I'm going to start the winter one. I don't think there's much chance of me getting it fully stitched, but I'm going to make a start on it, and I'm looking forward. I believe the heart is challenging. If others are to be believed, it can be a little bit challenging in the counting, so I will do the best I can, and I'm really, really looking forward to that. So if you have these, if you have the magazines, or you always have fancied starting these, you could maybe join me on the 18th or some date in and around there. So that is the plan for November, those 2 starts. That will bring me to 48, leaving only 2 remaining starts for December. So it's very exciting. We're getting very close to the end of the 50 starts. So I'm going to take a few minutes here to rearrange my table, and I'm going to come back and have a little chat with you about Stitch in London. I'm going to show you all the goodies I received, all the haul. There was a lot of haul. But it's so lovely. I promise it's so lovely, and I want to share it with you. So if that interests you, you won't really notice. There will just be a quick video edit, but I will be back in a few minutes. And if that's not your cup of tea, that's perfectly okay. You can pop off and I will see you in a couple of weeks' time. I hope it'll be just 2 weeks. So I'll see you on the next video. So last weekend, from the 11th to the 13th of October, I went to Stitch in London weekend 2 with my lovely friend Noreen, and we headed off on Thursday morning. We took an extra day, so the retreat starts on Friday, but this year we decided to take an extra day and ease ourselves gently into the weekend. So this is something that I think both of us really enjoyed, and we hope to be able to do again next year. Take that extra day ahead, do all of the busy traveling on that first day, not on the day that you start retreat. And one of the reasons that we went over early was to visit the V&A Museum. So as I'm chatting a little bit, I will add in some of the photos I took from our first day visit. So here we are in the V&A, clearly very happy to be away, escaped women. And we had a little look around the V&A for a couple of hours. We enjoyed the jewellery exhibition. We loved the tapestries that were upstairs, enormous, enormous tapestries. We sat for ages just looking at them. The more we looked, the more we saw in those tapestries. I don't know that I took pictures. I was kind of, well, all weekend I didn't take enough pictures, I know that I didn't, but I was kind of in awe of the tapestries, and I don't know if I actually took any photos. If I did, I'll insert them here. If not, I'm really sorry. But the more we looked at these tapestries, the more the story was told, the more things we could see sort of hiding in these enormous tapestries that hung in great grand houses of the past. So a couple of them were from Hardwick Hall, and you've probably heard Michelle of Mama Love You GB and Caroline and Kerry from Roxy Floss and Evertotes talking about Hardwick Hall because they all visited there in the summertime. So it was really fun to see some of these enormous, enormous proper woven tapestries, not stitched tapestries like sometimes we refer to needlepoint as tapestry, but these are woven tapestries for huge, huge walls. They were just fascinating. We saw the costume exhibition. We were able to watch a couple of lovely little videos of behind the scenes, how they generated the animals for his dark materials, how they created wigs for the crown. It was just fascinating. I just was enthralled by all the different things, all the little things we were able to see. As I said, the jewellery exhibition was wonderful. So much artwork in the jewellery, fine details, stories and pictures, all presented in beautiful carvings and engravings in metal for the jewellery, and of course the precious stones themselves. These are jewels like I will never see in my life again, but so beautiful. We found some stitching eventually. We thought there was going to be a black work exhibition. It had been mentioned at the Big Stitch in the summer. Someone who was there presenting at the Big Stitch had said she had an exhibition in the V&A, but we think maybe that has been and gone and nobody seemed to know anything about that, so we didn't get to see that. But we did ask, and we eventually found a little bit of black work, and we found a lot of other stitching too, a lot of embroidery and needlepoint. Not any cross stitch that I can recall, but I'm inserting pictures as I'm chatting with you. So there are bed hangings, there are pillowcases, there are little pockets and purses that were beautifully embroidered, some beadwork on like an urn, which maybe isn't my taste, but I can appreciate the amount of work that went into that. So all of that was it just filled our cups, and it was just a really nice, relaxing way to spend the morning and the early part of the afternoon. After that, we headed off to Watford to get ourselves settled in the hotel, which we did very comfortably. I think we both tried to nap but didn't quite make it. Then we had some dinner and then came back into the hotel and met a few friendly faces who were also gathering a night early for a retreat. So we met Susan, the Blue Crab Stitcher, who had flown in all the way from Washington, DC to be there. So it was lovely to meet her. Noreen had spoken to me of her before. I think Noreen met her at the first year of Stitch in London. So it was really nice to meet Susan. I don't think I got a photograph though, so I'm sorry, Susan. And Susan was there with Melanie, so it was really lovely to meet Melanie too. Melanie is from England, so they were there. And we also met Rachel, the Talking Dog Stitcher, who was there as a vendor, but she had come along and was with Sherry from Just So Sherry. So it was really nice to see them, have a little chat that evening, and then head up to bed to get what we hoped was be a good night's sleep to settle us all ready for a retreat starting at lunchtime on Friday. The retreat was everything you would expect me to tell you about retreat. It was wonderful, just wonderful. Filled my cup to overflowing, and it's still overflowing. So I cannot say enough good things about my weekend at Stitch in London. Noreen and I had a kind of, a relaxed morning, and then of course we came back to the hotel lobby and gathered kind of around 11:30. There are some other stitchers. We had met a few stitchers arriving, so Clare from Bristol came in. We saw a lovely young lady across the way, and I thought, I think she's a stitcher, and her ears perked up when I had said hello to Clare, and I thought, yeah, I think she's a stitcher. So I asked her, and she was called Leanne. It was her first time at Stitch in London retreat, so it was really lovely to meet Leanne. We kind of adopted her for the weekend, or she adopted us, whichever way around that worked. But she was a real pleasure, and I hope that we're now stitchy friends. So Leanne, we met Leanne, and we met a few others who were arriving. So Samantha was arriving. We met Samantha last year, so that was nice. There was a lovely lady called Jenny who was an exquisite stitcher and was wearing hand knits that were just top-notch quality. So that lovely Jenny she was very experienced, very, very highly skilled needlework master. Samantha came with Clare, who she had rescued further down the road at a different hotel, and Clare joined us, and Clare and Samantha also joined our table for the weekend. So we had a lovely table there were 8 tables in the room, and we were 7 at each table. So I'll insert a couple of pictures of my table here, and we were table 2, so there was Noreen and me. And then we had kept a seat for Ros, who was coming a little bit later in the afternoon. And that's Ros Clarke Crafts. Then there was Samantha and Clare, who I hadn't met before. Clare has her own Flosstube channel as well. She is Crafty Creative Clare, or Creative Crafty Clare. I'll put it along the bottom and get it right. And then Karen came and joined us as well, and Leanne, who we had met in the lobby. I was going to say picked up in the lobby, but that doesn't sound quite right. Sorry, Leanne, who we met in the lobby. So there were 7 of us, spent a fantastic weekend together, laughing, chatting, sharing, all the things. It was lovely. It was such a nice table, such a pleasant group of ladies to spend stitchy time with. So when the doors opened, of course, my first thing was to want to give Marie a really big hug, because Marie is she's such a star, but she is such a friend, and I just wanted to give her a big hug because I haven't seen her since last year. So hugs over, then we kind of settled at our tables. And Friday was an unscheduled kind of an afternoon, and there were vendors there. I'll tell you a lot about the vendors in a bit. There were vendors throughout the weekend, really. Fantastic vendors. So there were, on Friday afternoon, there were vendors there and really just settling and an introduction and welcome from Marie, and just lots and lots of chatting. It was so great to hear the buzz in the room. It really was. As old friends met and new friends were made, it was just wonderful, just wonderful. Saturday and Sunday was a little more scheduled. Now, not really scheduled, but there were a little more scheduled activities. All the kinds of things you would expect at a retreat. The brag table was there, which was obviously there from Friday too. Some amazing things on the brag table, which I got a picture of this one. This one I did get. This is called the Tree of Life, and this was stitched by Jenny, who is Celandine Stitches on Instagram. She had also a couple of other pieces on the brag table, and I don't think I took photos of them, but mini stitching. So she stitched this piece 1/1 full cross on 28 count, and it is stunning. This piece blew my socks off. I have ordered the pattern already from 123 Stitch. I intend to fully copy and give Jenny all the credit when I do one day stitch it. It was stunning. She had another piece that was stitched in half cross stitches on a 40 count. It was a strawberries and cream like jugs and earthenware kind of design. Absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful, neat, tidy, tiny stitching. So inspirational, as were many of the other stitches on the table, but I'm sorry I didn't get enough photographs of them. I was a very bad floss tuber on my weekend away. I didn't think enough about the photographs I would need to fill in my floss tube, so I apologize for that in advance, but I was in the moment and enjoying myself. So there was also on Saturday and Sunday, there we had the raffles, which were amazing prizes on the raffles. I didn't win anything, but there was lots of laughter. We had a quiz, there was even more laughter. Some of our tables couldn't stop laughing. There was a freebie table and a de-stash table. I think those were on Sunday. And of course we had the swap, the exchange, the Stitch in London exchange. And you saw that I made my piece, that fully finished piece that I insert the little video of, and it went to Davina. But I also received a piece. I was able to choose from the table. So I chose this little bag, expecting of course that it would have autumn goodies inside, and oh my goodness, did it have autumn goodies inside. So it turned out that when I opened the card, this was what I saw on the card, and I thought, could it be from the Blue Crab Stitcher? And it was. So I had chosen Susan's piece, Susan from the Blue Crab Stitcher. I had chosen her swap piece, and it's amazing. It is amazing. I do feel like I won the jackpot. So this is the finish. Look at this. It's called October Feast by With Thy Needle and Thread. So it's Brenda Gervais piece. It's finished on this gorgeous little paddle. So it's made with love from Susan, the Blue Crab Stitcher, sorry. And there's a lovely little bead hanger at the top, but look at it. I mean, the work, the needlework is exquisite. The design is beautiful and the finish is immaculate. So I really did come up trumps on this one. So thank you so much, Susan. This was so fun to open. And there were other gorgeous little goodies inside. Let me show you what Susan included. She included some autumn pins. Cute, cute. There was a lovely, there were some sweet treats in there, but they're long gone. There was a lovely little pack of Mary Arden tapestry needles, size 26. There's some autumn stickers, some tea, and I really do think that this package was meant for me, because look, a little book all about tea time. So I am going to display this little book on the dresser somewhere, just because I love it. It's such a dinky little book, and inside there are little recipes and a little bit of histories and traditions of teas. And so I think this had my name written all over it from the very beginning, Susan. Thank you so much. This was a really beautiful swap to receive, and of course the swap was so much fun. As I said before, the noise levels in the room went up. The excitement was palpable as we all opened these kind of Secret Santa type presents with stitchy goods in them. So loads of fun. Thank you, Marie, for including an exchange in the weekend. Anyone who hasn't participated before, I do heartily recommend it. It is a really fun way to just share in what's going on a weekend retreat. So we had all of those regular things. I had opportunity to meet some friends I had met before. So there was the lovely Sarah Richards, who I got to meet again. I should offer an apology to everybody. I did intend on Sunday to go around and actually sit down and chat with people for 5 or 10 minutes properly, as opposed to just saying hello and a quick chat. We did have chats at other times, but on Sunday morning I really hit a wall. It was like I just became a zombie for a bit. I think I was just exhausted. I didn't sleep particularly well. I think it was too exciting a weekend. The hotel room was very hot. All of those things, just excitement and heat and all the rest of it. And you don't sleep terribly well when you're not at home sometimes as well. So yeah, Sunday morning I really hit a wall and I was no good to anybody. So I just sat and filled in my 262 stitches, and I didn't get around everybody to have a little bit more chat like I was planning. But it was so good to catch up with folks who I'd met before, like Sarah, like Ros, and of course the lovely Charlie, her little doggy, who came with us at meal times when we went out to eat. Samantha, Yasmin from Yas is Made with Love, Marie, of course, Karen, who was at our table. I hadn't met Karen last year. She was actually one of the first people I met last year when I came into the lobby for my first year of Stitch in London retreat. So it was so good to catch up with them. There were others like Rachel and Clare and Hannah, and I'm going to forget, so I'm not going to try to name everybody because I don't want to offend anyone, but it was so nice to see everyone again. And also then to make some new friends. So the lovely Sue and the lovely Sarah W came and they said hello. They watched the channel and they came over to say hello. And I'm so glad that you did, ladies. Thank you so much. I'm only sorry that I didn't get photographs with you. I know Sue even took a photo of the two of us together and I didn't think to hand over my camera. So I really was a bad Flosstube at the weekend. But thank you, Sue and Sarah, for coming and saying hello and having a little chat with me. I hope you really enjoyed your weekend at Stitch in London. Clare, who joined our table, was new to us, or new to me, and I'm looking forward to catching up on her Flosstube when I eventually catch up on Flosstube at all, and seeing how she presents her Flosstubes and what she does. She was a really interesting lady and really nice to spend time with. We had Leanne, as I said, it was her first retreat. I also met Fanny, who was there from France, Fanny from the Soul Stitchers. Unfortunately, Marion wasn't able to join her. Marion had a friend's wedding to go to, but Fanny came to London and she seemed to have a really great time, and we went out for dinner. She joined our group for dinner, sort of her table and our table went out for something to eat on Saturday night, I think. And yeah, it was just a really relaxed, really nice time, and it was lovely to meet with Fanny, and also and I met with Caroline from Caroline's Cross Stitch Corner. I've heard lots about Caroline from Sally at Sew Me Sally. At Flossie Sews and Grows. Sew Me Sally, that's hilarious. So it was nice to finally meet Caroline too briefly. So next year I hope to be a better Flosstuber, a better person, and actually go and sit and chat with people. Perhaps I need to do that on Saturday before I get too tired. I think that could be the action plan for next year. So we had table gifts at our table, and they were beautiful. So Noreen gave us all a little Stitch in London ornament, little wooden ornament and a skein of DMC floss, so gorgeous colour, and add that to my stash. Leanne made us all little card pouches, little card purses, sorry. She had one herself on her key ring, and it was so handy, so beautifully made, really, really beautifully made. So thank you so much, Leanne, for that. Clare gave us a little bag of essential goodies. So there's some tea in here, Post-its, a little pen, cute pair of scissors, and there might have been a sweet treat in there as well. I have a feeling that disappeared, you know, just vanished. Thank you, Clare. Sam gave us a lovely little zipper pull tags, and they have, I don't know if you can see, they have SIL on the center beads, and mine has a little needle charm on the end, so I chose this one. She had a little box of them and we were able to choose. I love it. Thank you, Sam. Sam also had a fabulous cross-stitch dress, and she had worn it last year as well, because where else would you wear your cross-stitch dress but to a fantastic retreat? But it's a fabulous dress. It suits her beautifully, and I'm sorry I didn't get a photo of it because it was so nice, so nice. So good to see you again, Sam. And Ros made us all little scissor pouches and included a lovely pair of scissors in there. So nice iridescent scissors. So we're well scissored up. Noreen and I actually made a trip to the post office on Saturday morning and sent our scissors home with us because we weren't entirely sure that they would let us on the flight with a number of pairs of scissors each. So we thought it was a safer bet to post them home, and you can see they arrived safely. So that was worth the effort of finding the post office, which is not where Google Maps says it is in Watford, I'm going to tell you. But it was worth the effort of finding that to make sure that we were able to keep the scissors from Ros and the scissors from Clare as well. So yeah, that's how we got our scissors home with us. Our table also did a little bit of pattern swapping, so we all had brought a number of patterns, and we just shared them around to see who would like patterns. And Ros gave me this little Dove Designs pattern. It's called The Home of a Stitcher, and that's it there. So I think I will stitch this sometime, and I probably will share it then afterwards and keep the life of this one going, share it around the stitchy community. So that was a nice little thing to do. So there is obviously a freebie table at the retreat and a de-stash table, so you can take some charts along to give away as freebies and to de-stash for a little bit of money if you want to. But obviously there's a kind of a limit to how many charts the organisers want to have on the table, probably for a number of reasons, to make it easier to look through and so that they're not left at the end with this whole big bunch of charts that nobody wanted to take away with them. So one of the things you can do on a retreat, if you are limited to how many patterns you can de-stash or sell, de-stash or give away as freebies, one of the things you can do is just ask around your table, would anybody like some of these patterns that you're finished with? And that was actually a really fun extra little bonus for us all. So I would recommend doing that as well at your tables. After the gifts, there were some other gifts as well. So some other folks in the room were going around and sharing with us. Someone, might have been Caroline, someone brought us these little zipper tags from Whitney. Now Whitney was on my table last year at Stitch in London, and this year she was, it'd be better that way, wouldn't it, Sarah? This year she was on retreat number 1, the weekend number 1, but she had made lots and lots of zipper pulls, so she left them with someone to share around weekend 2. So albeit that Whitney and I weren't together on the weekend, it's lovely to have this from you, Whitney. So thank you so much for sharing these with weekend 2, even though you weren't there. You were there in spirit with us. So that was a cute little toadstool zipper pull. I was gifted some floss drops from Chloe, Girl with the Gavel Stitches. So those are cute. There's the same one, but a number of those. That was very kind. Bex came around the table and she shared some zipper pulls, scissor fobs as well. Mine's got a little cat on the bottom. Can you see it? Cute, and a 2024 at the top. Those were lovely. Thank you very much, Bex. Judith came and gave me little little London, England tags. There's the little crown and a Union flag heart there. Susan, Blue Crab Stitcher, had some coasters to give away, so she gave me this beautiful autumnal coaster. And Michelle from Mama Loves You GB, who was lovely to see there too again this year. Michelle was chatting with me and she said, oh, I brought some of that silk that you liked. And I was thinking, what silk did I like? But as soon as I saw it, I knew what she meant. So Michelle had shared some silks that she got from Silks For You on her video, you know, some time ago. And I had just commented that the variegated silk in her pack was really beautiful. And so really kindly, she brought the silk along and she lopped off some for me. So I'm not showing it to its best advantage. Let me get a board here. Let's see. So this was in an autumnal pack that she got this year. And that is the beautiful kind of lavenders, soft smoky blues, cream colours. It's not showing up terribly brilliantly, but maybe you can see these colours down here better. But thank you very much, Michelle. It was so kind of you to share your silk floss with me. I feel so blessed. So thank you. That was really, really sweet. So I think you'll agree that gifts-wise, swaps-wise, I did very nicely out of a stitch in London. And I really had no need to buy stash or to buy anything else. But, you know, I'm there and I do. So first of all, we had our Stitch in London retreat pack, which, as I said, this year didn't include the kits because those were optionals, extras, so that people could order things that they did like and not order if they didn't like. But in our retreat pack, there was a lovely page where we could record the names of the folks at our tables, any patterns that we liked and saw over the weekend, names of Instagrams and floss tubes that we wanted to watch. So it was a nice way to record things for the weekend. And then we got a complimentary pattern from Yasmin's Made with Love, a little tomato pincushion. Beautiful. Thank you for that, Yas. And Marie also included a stitch thread organizer. I love this. I really love this. I do organize my threads using these or similar items or cards with holes punched in, whatever. So I love this this wooden one, and I love that it has been etched with Stitch in London. This is from Daria Mix in the US. And there was a little ringling for Stitch in London 2024. It has a little snippet of Yaz's retreat sampler in the photo there on the ringling. So those were in our kit, or a retreat pack. And then we were also able to pre-order from Laura at Cotton and Clay, a needle minder. It's a kind of art deco, and that is a little reminder of the weekend for me. So I ordered the needle minder. There was also a beautiful bag pull and some ring bling as well, but I didn't pre-order those because my pre-order was quite costly. But don't tell anybody. So I didn't order those this time. I just ordered the needle minder. And then there was also an option to pre-order Roxy Floss Co threads. So I did because I love them. And these are for specific projects. So when the pre-order came out, the pre-order email came out, I did go through projects that I knew I wanted something specifically for. And I worked out what I needed and ordered with intention. The rest of what I've purchased was not so intentional, but this was. So those are my pre-orders, the retreat pack and the gifts. And then, of course, I went shopping. So we were spoiled for vendors, actually. We had Atelier Frames were there, and we had Corey's Little Shop, a fantastic range of threads. I mean, all kinds of threads. So 6-stranded regular cotton threads, fancy flosses, silks, Valdanis, all sorts, really all sorts. So she is online, so I will link below. I'll link all of the vendors online in case you're interested in having a look. But Corey's Little Shop was new to me, and she did, I was very impressed by the range of floss and threads available all in the one spot. She was there a couple of days, and I picked up a few bits and pieces from her, which I'll show you in a moment. We had Ness from Ness Craft Room. She was there with her fantastic bags again this year. She didn't have any folios. Maybe she had some and they sold out, but she didn't have any, and that's what I was waiting for. So I didn't pick up a project bag, but maybe next year I'll get a folio Ness. Wink, wink. I do try, Ness has an Etsy shop, and I do try from time to time to pick up a folio in the Etsy shop, but I'm always too slow. They just disappear. But Ness's work is exquisite. Beautiful workmanship, beautiful finishing on her pieces. Linda Haddon from the Sampler Guild was there on Saturday. She was selling a range of fabrics, some higher count linens, a range of patterns. She had also got a nice bargain box of patterns that we could look through. She had some freebies, that kind of thing. Yaz, of course, was there with her shop, Yasmin's Made with Love. And what was so nice about Yaz's shop was to see how it's growing. So last year it was a little shop because she was just a new designer. This year she's got all her boxes, beautiful painted boxes and everything, more and more patterns. It's really nice to see Yaz's journey expand as her shop at the retreat does too. So that was fantastic. Megan of Coffee Craft Fabrics was there too with her very colourful range of fabrics, all beautiful. Lots of folks choosing colourful, unique colourful pieces to go with very particular patterns that they have in mind. So that was good to see the excitement there. And then Rachel from Talking Dog Stitcher was there on Saturday. And she had stock rotating through the day, so we got to see her threads. She has cottage garden threads, cottage garden threads. She has gentle arts. She had a lot of patterns as well for sale, so it was really fun to see everything that she has. And word has it that her online shop will have a new range of threads as well coming. So she has another range of threads that she's bringing into the shop. She's obviously growing the shop, but it was so lovely to meet her in person, and I had a voucher to spend, so that was fun, finding what I would like to spend the voucher on. So I'll share that in a minute too. And of course, Marie and Gunter were there launching Swan Bay fabrics. Wonderful, just wonderful. I spent a lot of money on Swan Bay fabrics. I did make some purchases for gifts, so I don't feel just quite so guilty. But they were perfect fabrics, and it was so lovely to see the excitement over this new range of linens that are available to us. And there will be Ada's available as well. Swan Bay Fabrics has now launched online from the 14th of October. They've been up online selling linens from the 14th of October, so last Monday. From the 4th of November, they will also be selling their Ada fabrics. So keep watching because they have new things to bring us. They're bringing us the Ada. They're going to bring us some higher counts as well. All of the counts are not available just at the moment. So there is a lot more to come from Swan Fabrics, and I really wish Marie and Gunter all the very best. They were so helpful at the weekend, and it was so nice to see them working together, and I'm sure they are exhausted, but it was a lot of fun, and thank you for offering these fabrics out to the community. So I have talked about all of the vendors, so let me show you what purchases I made. So Atelier frames were there, and I know some folks were able to leave stitch pieces with her, and she will then return the stitches to the folks via post. And I know that lots of people have been very happy with the work that she's done. So I didn't have anything to leave with her, but she did have a couple of boxes of pre-made frames. And I picked up these two, which are essentially the same, just slightly different sizes. And I loved them. I thought they would be very versatile for some kind of future stitch. Don't really have a plan for them, but they were £5 each. And I thought they were of a size that I would be able to get home in my carry-on luggage. So I picked up those two from Atelier Frames. She did have a box of £5 frames and a box of £10 frames. And I thought those were really good value. But as I say, she was there mainly to pick up pieces for custom framing, and I know that folks who have had that done by her have been very happy with the work that she's done. So she's also online if you're interested. You can have a little look at her website there. At Corey's little shop, I picked up a bag of trims. She had lots of kind of themed bags of trims or trim collections, and I like this little grey one. Just a variety of ribbons and pom-poms and rickrack, and so that was just a few pounds. That was nice. I picked up this colour just because it took my eye. So it's Weeks Dye Works Twilight. And I picked up a couple of the Floramel silks from Gloriana. This is pomegranate, which I have stitched with before and love. So I wanted to have a little bit more of that in my stash. And then I just loved this. Sorry, it make you seasick. Love the variegation in that. It's very soft. And that one is called Cotswold Garden. It's lovely. So those were from Corey's Little Stitch. As I said, she had a great selection of threads, really great selection. So if you are looking for something specific and maybe something a little bit different, like a Valdani or a silk, she definitely is a good place to have a peek at. Linda Haddon from the Sampler Guild had a couple of freebies from Haystack Stitching. So I'll just kind of flash them quickly. There was a Season's Greetings one and a little flower vase. Those were cute. She was selling some Zweigart, mainly higher counts, but I got this one, which I think is a 32 or a 36. It's a 32 count, but it's vintage grey, which I love. Vintage grey. So I bought a fat quarter of that. And then I bought from her box of bargains, I bought this lovely little sampler. I think it's a little purse, but I thought those were cute motifs. I bought that. And I bought this one for you guys as a Black Sampler November giveaway. So this is a design by Barbara Keys. I am Scottish House Sampler designed by Brenda Keys. Did I say Barbara Keys? I do know a lady in real life called Barbara Keys, so if I said that, that's why. But this is Brenda Keys. So if you hold on to the end of the video, this will be up for competition in a giveaway. So Linda had lots of fun things to have a root through. It's just fun to rifle through a box. Then I had a little purchase at Yasmin's stall. This is called Winter Duo. I think this is releasing soon. I think this was a Patreon design, and I think she has printed it and was selling it at Stitch in London, and I think it's coming in November to her website for purchase. So I love this Winter Duo. And these, she had the models for these. These were beautifully finished with beads on the edge, little tassels and things. Oh, they were just gorgeous. And that fabric was beautiful. So a couple of us at the table bought this one. And then I had a shopping spree courtesy of Angel, who gifted me a very generous voucher for Talking Dog Stitchery. And I mentioned her the last video, I think, or the one before that. And I mentioned that she had made that gift to me. So it was really nice when I then found out that Rachel was going to be at Stitch in London, because I thought I could actually see in person some of the bits and pieces that she is selling. And I was able to use my voucher, and I needed to add a little bit more because, you know, you go crazy. But I had a very, very generous voucher from Angel, and I was able to pick up these. So this is a book I have wanted for a very long time. Home for the Holidays from Blackbird Designs. There is not a stitch in this that I would not stitch. I love the stockings, I love the small ones, I love the bigger ones. I absolutely love, you'll all recognize this cardinal, this, and the name of it, 'Tis the Season, just went out of my head, the name. So that is 'Tis the Season. I think any self-respecting Blackbird stitcher has already stitched this. I don't call myself a Blackbird stitcher, but I love this design. I love all of the designs in this. So Angel, thank you for making that one a reality for me. That was so good to find on Rachel's table. Then I found this, I think this is a newer release, Jane Austen Needle Keep. It's so nice, so nice. So I will be stitching that at some point. So that is the outside of the needle keep. So you stitch that long piece and then it folds up in 3. And then inside you stitch little panels almost where you can number your needles. So you can save them where they are, where they rightfully belong in terms of needle size. So I love that. I got that as well. I then picked up Erin Elizabeth Designs Believe. So nice. So nice. It's good to see that one. And I chose a couple of Cottage Garden threads because they're beautiful. They really are beautiful, and it's nice again to see them for real. So I was obviously feeling autumnal when I chose these colors. Viola and Zulu. I don't have a plan for these. I'm just going to put them in stash, and someday the perfect pattern will appear for them. I thought they were just stunning. So those are my super duper purchases from Rachel at Talking Dog Stitchery, and they're really gifts because they were from the wonderful gift from Angel. So thank you so much, Angel. I hope you approve of my purchases, and I look forward very much to adding those to my stash and using them sometime in the future. I will use them very fondly, knowing that you gifted them to me. So I can't not show you what Swan Bay fabric I purchased, but I won't take forever about it because I've done a lot of talking about Swan Bay fabric on the other video, the little floss toss video, and last week as well. So these are my 4 fat quarters that I am adding to my stash. The front one, this one, it's not showing, the light is terrible today, but this is Highbury Gold in a 36 count, I believe. Yes, 36 count. And then these 3 are 40 counts. So I've got Sanditon Light, Rosings Parlour, and Pemberley. And the problem that I have now is I need to choose one of these 3 for my across the pond sal. And I want to stitch on all of them and I don't know which one to choose. So I have backed myself into a corner of indecision and I need to come out of it. But anyway, I do have time. It's not until January, but these are beautiful and I love, love, love having these in my stash. I love it because they've come from a friend. You know, it's Marie is a friend and she's dying, and her husband is dying as well, and a friend. You know, he's such a great guy. He is there, and I don't know how he tunes out all that noise on a retreat weekend. It's all blah 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 blah. He is super, super helpful, and it's so nice to see him in business with Marie over the fabrics. So yeah, anyway, I will be adding these to my stash and treasuring them. I'm going to have to talk myself into actually making sure I stitch on them and don't just hoard them. But I need to make a decision about, yeah, I need to make a decision about which one I'm going to use for that sal. So that's something to think about. I'll have to leave them out for a while upstairs and have a look at them in passing every time I walk by the desk to see which one I'm actually going to make a decision and cut. Scary. Anyway, so those were my shopping highlights. I have one other little purchase, and that is a bag of buttons. And who doesn't love a bag of buttons? Chloe, girl with the gavel stitches, was she was having a massive de-stash of fabrics and other things, which I didn't get to see on time, but she had a really big box of white and cream buttons, and I would have brought the whole box home if I'd had room, but I didn't have room. So I asked her what happens if I just want a handful, and she said she took a price for a handful, and I brought some buttons back for stash. So I think those will look cute added to finishes in the future. So that is all of my haul. It was a lot, I know it was a lot, but I was like a child in a sweet shop who hasn't been at a sweet shop for a year. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. So the last thing that I have to share with you is a gift. And this gift was from Yasmin, and it's a little birthday, well, it's a very big birthday gift for me. So she gave me this gift, and I was overwhelmed and overjoyed. It's absolutely beautiful. So just let me share with you. She had some Stitch in London mugs, and she gave me a Stitch in London mug for Yasmin's Made with Love. So that was nice. And then she gave me a beautiful Stitch in London project bag. So she made these herself. Aren't they lovely? So my Stitch in London sampler is going straight in this after I have shared it with you. And look at this fob up here. It's so nice. So nice. It's like a little pottery flower. It's beautiful. Like, beautiful. Lovely London themed fabric. And then really special gift. She gave me one of her boxes. So this one. So in here is the pattern for Nordic Winter. So you stitch the little round pattern and then you mount it on the box. Look at that. I'll take it out and show you properly. So this is the box. Yaz's hand painted box. Now I'm not going to tell you, well I am going to tell you, this thing caused trouble coming home at Gatwick. Probably not its fault, but I had it filled full of all of my purchases, all my goodies, needle minders and various things, and needle minders and the metal lock on this box, and it caused some concern at Gatwick, let's just say. But I guess at least they're picking up on things that concern them. But oh my, it was a long journey home. Anyway, beautiful, beautiful hand-painted box by Yaz. I will truly treasure this, and I will thoroughly enjoy stitching the Nordic winter piece. For the top of it. Beautiful, beautiful. That's going to be such a treasured piece when it's finished. Yaz, thank you so much. That was such a lovely surprise, and I don't deserve it, but thank you. There's also a little matching needle minder in here. This is from by Charlie Feathers. It's part of Yaz's Christmas box. Beautiful. And there were also a couple of little cards in here, and they have some freebie designs on the back. So there's a little penguin design on here. I don't want to share it. And then quite often when you order from Yaz, you'll get a little postcard in your package, and this one has the little heart design on it that says "To my friend" on the back of there. So so many goodies, so much attention to detail, being very, very precise and particular about how things are created. Yaz is really a very, very talented designer and artist. She has an art qualification as well. So it's super to see her growing and expanding and using all of the talents that she has for our art, for our craft. And I feel very honoured to have been gifted these beauties. So thank you very much, Ros. Okay, I sigh with great satisfaction at the memories that I made last weekend. I want to say a huge thank you to Marie and Gunther for a fabulous, fabulous retreat. When I'm talking to Marie, she always plays down her part, and she said, no, it's you guys come and you make it wonderful. And yes, to some degree we do, to some degree we come along, and because we are excited and because we are good and kind and, embracing of everyone and everything that happens at retreat, then that does help to make retreat. But there wouldn't be a retreat without the effort that Marie and Gunther put in. Marie particularly, she plays down her role, and she really shouldn't, because without her there wouldn't be a place for us to gather. There wouldn't be a place for us to meet fellow stitchers, to meet people we've met online, to see them in real life. There wouldn't be a place for us to laugh till our face hurts, because that does happen. To talk until we're hoarse, because that also happened, and to chat with people who are similarly passionate about our craft, our needlework. So you need to stop downplaying it, Marie, and accept the huge, huge thanks that I know I'm not the only one extending to you. So thank you very much for making all of it possible. At one point I did stop her and say, no, you have to look at this room. You made this possible. And she still can't accept that, because she's really a beautifully humble person, but she should. So thank you, Marie. Thank you to Table 2 for making me laugh, for the great chats that we had. There were lots of interesting conversations about all sorts of things. It was really great. There were some tears, because there are genuine conversations happening, genuine connections being made, and life is being lived, even though we're there enjoying our stitchy time. So I really treasure the weekend that I've just had, and the one I had last year too, and I am immensely looking forward to next year's retreat to see who else can I meet and who can I catch up with again. So I'm hanging in for that. I hope that you don't mind if I'll be effusive again next year all about it. Anyway, I think that's probably enough from me for one Saturday afternoon. I hope that I'll be able to join you again in a couple of weeks. Probably back in my Sunday slot. There is a reason why I haven't been able to record on Sunday this weekend. So I have alternative plans tomorrow. So I wanted to sneak in today and get this up and at you rather than missing out completely. So So 2 weeks time on a Sunday, I hope, back with you, and until then, oops, I'm back. I forgot to do the giveaways, so I'm really sorry about that. They got buried under everything that's here on this table. You should see the mess here, but they got buried and I just forgot until I lifted my notebook, and there they were. So I have 2 giveaways for you, so there's 2 opportunities to win today. In the comments, if you can use the appropriate word, you can enter for both if you like, and please be 18 so that I can ask for your mailing address. I am happy to ship internationally. So what I've got for you today are 2 black samplers in honor of Black Sampler November, which is imminent. I do realize that I'm a little bit late probably to be able to get these to you on time, as it will be November when it will be November when I am next back and announcing the winners. But there's always a late start in November that you can do, or keep them for next year. But they're 2 really lovely charts. The first is that sampler company from Brenda Keys, the Scottish House Sampler it's called. If you would like this one, please use the word house in your comment. And I have a copy of Nessie Mitchell, because my friend Noreen also gifted me a copy of Nessie Mitchell, as well as the one that I got from Michelle. And Noreen has kindly said I can offer this as a giveaway. Oops. So this is Nessie Mitchell, 1929. From Mama Loves You GB. If you would like to win this copy, then please just use the word black in your comment down below. So use the word black for Nessie Mitchell and use the word house for the Scottish House Sampler. And I will choose winners on the next video. And this time I really do mean it. Until I see you next, stay well and stitch happy. Bye.